I am Eleanor Bennett. I am 58 years old, and this is my true story from Chicago. If Marcus had not been waiting in the parking lot that night, with his hazards flashing, I would have walked straight through the sliding doors of the 24-hour Right Value Pharmacy on Western Avenue and never walked out again. 6 months earlier, I stood in the ICU at Northwestern Memorial Hospital, holding my husband Robert's hand as the machines around him slowly went quiet. 41 years of marriage ended in the space of a single breath. The silence that followed was heavier than anything I had ever known. Robert had been a high school math teacher for 38 years. He was patient, steady, the kind of man who stayed up late grading papers at our kitchen table with a cup of decaf coffee by his side and never once raised his voice. I had worked most of my life as a receptionist at a small dental practice on the South Side. We were never wealthy, but we were comfortable. We had each other, and that had always been enough. When the funeral costs and the mountain of medical bills were finally paid, what little remained disappeared into Chicago property taxes, winter heating bills, and the quiet reality that grief is one of the most expensive things a person can carry. Our daughter Sarah lived in Minneapolis with her own family. She called every Sunday, but the distance between us had grown wider than the miles. Grief stretches love thin until it feels like obligation. I sold our home in Logan Square, the place where we had built our life together, and moved into a small apartment above a taqueria in Humboldt Park. The paint was faded, the radiator clanked constantly, and late at night the smell of carne asada rose through the floorboards, reminding me I was still alive when I often wished I wasn't. Retirement was not an option. I took the night cashier position at the Right Value Pharmacy on Western Avenue, 11 p.m. to 7 a.m., 4 nights a week. That was where I met Marcus. He first appeared around 2:15 a.m., 3 weeks into my job. A tall, quiet black man in his early 50s, with a salt and pepper beard and careful movements. He bought the same things almost every night: ibuprofen, black coffee, protein bars, and sinus medication. He paid with exact change and spoke very little, until one cold October night when the rain fell sideways and my hands would not stop shaking. "You all right, ma'am?" he asked softly. I tried to smile. "Just the weather. Gets into the bones." He nodded as if he understood. The next time, he brought me an extra coffee. Black with 2 sugars, exactly how I liked it, though I had never told him. "You didn't have to do that," I said. "I know," he replied. "Nights are long." That small act became our ritual. Over the weeks, our conversations grew slowly. I learned he used to own an auto mechanic shop until a back injury ended that chapter. Now he drove rideshare at night so he could check on his elderly aunt during the day. I told him about Robert, about the silence that filled my apartment, about how some nights the loneliness felt unbearable. We never pushed too hard, just shared enough to remind each other we were still seen. I began bringing him homemade sandwiches and spicy peanuts. By December, Marcus had become the one steady light in my life. He would stop by even on his off nights, sometimes sitting in his car in the parking lot, keeping watch. I thought it was kindness. I did not yet understand it was vigilance. The pharmacy had problems. Small at first. Missing pills, altered digital records, a well-dressed woman who came every Tuesday and Friday asking for early refills with the same rehearsed story. A man in a delivery uniform who asked too many questions about the locked cabinets and night routines. Management called it glitches. I felt uneasy. Marcus noticed everything. One night he said quietly, That woman has been here 3 times this week with the exact same story. You seeing what I'm seeing, Ellie? When I brushed it off, he replied, desperate people don't memorize their lies so perfectly. He started noting license plates, recording conversations in his car when passengers spoke too freely. Then strange things began happening at my apartment. The side door propped open with a brick, my mailbox tampered with, a notebook missing from beside my phone. Fear started creeping in. When I told Marcus, his face hardened. He came the next day and replaced my old deadbolt with a strong new one. We drank tea afterward in silence, the trust between us growing deeper. The night everything changed was a bitter Tuesday in late February. The wind cut like knives. My shift was too quiet. Javier had called in sick. At 2:47 a.m., Marcus pulled into the lot but did not come inside right away. He sat watching, then walked in quickly. Ellie, don't go in the back. We're leaving, now. My heart pounded. What's happening? I've been driving the same man for weeks. He works here in maintenance. Tonight he was drunk and bragging. He said the night cashier is asking too many questions. He said the old lady is getting too close. And tonight they would fix it. He knew your name, your building, everything. He leaned closer. His car is behind the store right now. We are not waiting. We left immediately. As we reached his car, I heard footsteps rushing from the side entrance. Marcus drove fast, tires squealing on the ice. We looped through side streets for 20 minutes before he pulled into an empty Aldi parking lot. Tell me everything you've seen about the prescriptions, he said. I poured out every detail. He showed me his phone, pages of notes, dates, plates, and audio recordings. In one, a slurred voice said, "She's the only one double-checking counts. If she connects it, handle it quiet." Marcus had already called the police. We met officers at a 24-hour diner. I gave my statement. Marcus gave them everything. The investigation moved quickly. The man was Derek Lang, a maintenance worker with full access. He and his girlfriend ran a large prescription fraud operation, forging scripts, stealing identities, diverting opioids. They had planned to plant evidence in my apartment and make me look guilty. Derek had even copied my apartment key. Worse, it was personal. Years earlier, my husband Robert had testified in a case that cost Derek's brother his pharmacist license. Derek had targeted me for revenge. When the detective told me, I cried for a long time. The fear, the betrayal, the realization of how close I had come to disaster, it all crashed over me. The following weeks were a blur of statements, protection, and worry. Derek and his girlfriend were arrested. Federal agents joined the case. Marcus stayed with me through everything, driving me, sitting with me, never pushing, just being there. At the trial, I took the stand. Marcus testified with calm precision. The jury returned guilty verdicts on all charges within a day. After the sentencing, we sat on a bench outside the courthouse. I almost didn't speak up that night, Marcus admitted. I thought I was seeing ghosts from my failures with my daughter. I took his hand. I'm so grateful you did. A month later, his daughter Maya came from Atlanta. Their reunion was careful and emotional, but healing had begun. We started Sunday dinners, sometimes just Marcus and me. Sometimes Maya joined. 2 wounded people, slowly building something new. I still work nights at a different pharmacy with better security. Marcus still visits. I still bring him coffee when the nights are cold. I am 59 now. My apartment no longer feels empty. Evil does not arrive with loud warnings. It hides in routines, in small oversights, in the belief that nothing bad happens to quiet people. Kindness is not loud either. It is a cup of coffee, a changed lock, one person refusing to look away. I gave a regular customer coffee on cold nights. One night, he refused to let me finish my shift. Because of that, I am still here to tell this story. This was my true story from Chicago.